Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with Your Gamer Goggles, and today we're going to take a look at Forged in Fire with this box breaking. Now, unlike many of my box breakings, I actually know what's in this because this is the third time I've filmed this. The first time I was very unhappy with the length, it was 22 minutes long. The second time I kept the cards halfway off the camera, so I'm going to do a better job with that this time. I want to take note that this is the first time. What is that? This is the first time they have used a flip cap box, and it's magnetic. When you first open it up, there's a little brief background story to the Spell Tome expansion, and of course, you've got the Forged in Fire rules insert, as I'll call it, right on the inside of the box. And again, there's another little bit of fluff, and then as you open it up, you get the spell book, the sample spell book for the Warlock, and the sample spell book for the Warlord. Brief overview of their new abilities that are unique to them, both, and then on the back, the additions of the codex for the rules and the definitions of the newer abilities. Now, like I said, this is unlike many box breakings that I've done because I actually know a little bit about this, so this might be a little bit longer than just looking at the cards. Obviously, you get tokens with it, just like you do with every Mage Wars expansion. This particular Spell Tome expansion is one that I'm a little bit fond of because it's got some really cool things in it that go beyond just the Warlord and the Warlock. One of which is Conquer, which we will talk about in depth in a little bit. I think this is something that requires a little bit of discussion. We're going to go ahead and start with the set of cards that underneath the Warlord. They aren't really in a particular order. They're actually kind of mixed up, so we're going to zoom in just a hair. You can see right there we go. Well, you can see right from the get-go that Mage Wars, Arcane Wonders always pays close attention to their art. They really play with greens and reds a lot, and this picture is not an exception to that rule. It looks like his torch or magic item there that goes down behind him is just glowing and sending the essence of the magic light up into the air. Now, what is cool about the Warlord? Well, the Warlord is a lot like, let's say, Iron Man or Batman from the comic book world, because he has runesmithing, which allows him to enhance the items that he has already put onto the playing field, or it allows him to do, well, for example, when an equipment comes into play attached to this mage, he may pay 1 mana to assign 1 rune to it, and his runes do different things, which they're on. For example, we have, let's see, what are they? Some of them are like +1 armor, power, pay one less mana. Actually, we should just cheat and use the book here real quick. You have Rune Fortification, which gives an X armor bonus. You have Rune of Power, which you can pay 1 less. Rune of Precision, this equipment, it's non-spell attacks gain piercing +1. You get the idea. So he gets to buff his equipment and make himself more of a warrior type. Which, by the way, his spell book is themed with dwarven warriors. And of course, just like the previous Warlocks, he has a new list of battle orders. Well, his battle orders are different than the previous Warlocks. You've got some lion savagery. You can see that it looks like his enchantments are going to buff his troops. You have Rust, which is Mage Bind. This creature gains -2 armor. Combustion, which is a pretty interesting incantation. If there's burn conditions on a target, then you remove those, and combustion makes the above attack to the target, where X is twice the number of burn conditions. That's when we get into talking about the Warlord, that's pretty, or the Warlock, that's pretty aggressive, and it's a pretty good spell for her. And then we have Conquer again, which, man, I can't tell you enough about Conquer. This spell, in my opinion, could very well be the best spell in this tome. Target must not be attached to another target object. Well, first, let's look at it. It costs X to play. It's enemy non-terrain corporal conjuration. Target must not be attached to another object. If you control the target's zone and have a friendly soldier in that zone, destroy the target. Then as a free action, you may immediately cast the destroyed conjuration or a non-terrain conjuration from your spellbook. Targeting this zone X equals the casting cost of the target. This card is just loaded. I mean, you get to destroy something and search your spellbook. Anytime that you can wipe something off the board and then search your spellbook to replace what you're playing is pretty amazing. Now, it is limited to it is balanced, but still, the fact that you get to search, it's just pretty nuts. We have Defend, which places a guard marker on, and it's a level spell. Or a level spell. It has variable cost to it. Disarm. Again, these are all things that kind of beef your troops here. Target's next melee attack this round attacks an enemy creature. Ignite. If target does not already have a burn condition, it receives a burn condition. Burn conditions are pretty cool in this tome. Then you have Devil's Trident, which okay. Now, I like Devil's Trident for at least one reason. I think the art's pretty phenomenal. Again, you can just kind of see it at the right angle, right there. It looks like it's glowing. You know, of course, that has a lot to do with my lighting, but hey. Pearl Rock. It is a funny card. Funny looking. It's one of the better spells in the book, I believe. Or I should say the tome. And then we're going to move on to the one that I have hiding the Warlock. She's in here somewhere. So we have Adremelec's Touch. I think this is one of the better spells of this expansion, especially for the Warlock. Whenever a burn condition on this creature rolls a 0, you may pay 1 mana to prevent its removal. So you've got Mage Mind, +2, and then you can prevent things from happening. It gives you another control factor, which from looking through these cards, I get the impression that the Warlock is all about controlling the environment and the battlefield from the spells that are in this set. You have Kiro's Favor, which is pretty decent, at least for the way I've been playing the game. You have Arcane Corruption. Each upkeep phase, deal 1 direct damage to this creature. Brace Yourself. Creature gets an armor of +4. Again, we're back into boosting troops and creatures. We have Fumble. When this creature makes a non-spell, non-zone attack, you may reveal fumble immediately after the declare attack step. The attack misses and does not affect the target object. Then destroy fumble. X is equal to the creature's level -1. We have Lion Savagery again, and we have, now we're getting into some of the creatures. We have Gurmash, the Orc Sergeant, who is for the Warlord only. We have an Infernian Scourger, which is pretty interesting. I'm not totally, sold on who this creature is better for in this expansion. On one hand, I believe the card is designed for... Oh, I didn't think of that. Never mind. I'm going to refrain from that thought. I was going to say, on one hand, because of Flame -2, she's definitely geared for the Warlock because they can reduce the damage dice. But from a defensive standpoint, if it fit in the Warlord's deck, which I'd have to go back and... It's been a while since I built the spellbook. I'd have to look about, the creature types and seeing where they can go. Against the Warlock, this card would be so good. So, in a Warlock on Warlock battle, will it come down to which one gets the Scourgers out first? We have Otto Kronig, the Master Engineer. He has he's legendary and has lightning +2. Place an armor token, a +1 armor token on, or reconstruct 2 damage from a non-living corporal conjuration in his zone. So he's kind of like the Runesmith's assistant, we'll say. Then we have Talos. Now Talos is a very interesting card. Unstoppable, burn-proof, psychic immunity, non-living. He's a statue of all things, and he's 28. But what's unique about this is, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. He has reach, he's got piercing, and Talos comes into play with his action marker ready. So he's got some synergy going on. But with 28, is he hard to get out? We'll see. We have a Wildfire Imp, which is another Flame -2 creature. Instead of taking move action, the Wildfire Imp may pay 1 mana to teleport to a target zone with an object with a burn condition on it. So they're attracted to things that are on fire, which teleportation is pretty good. Now, Goblin Alchemist. By far, this is probably one of my favorite cards of this expansion. Not because, they have 3 different possible attacks, but because they're Goblin Alchemists, and I am just a fan of, I do a lot of role-playing, and I'm a fan of Alchemists, and I'm a fan of Goblins. So this card will go into... I'm actually going to start collecting them, actually. So if anybody has Goblin Alchemists they want to get rid of, and they run into me at Origins Game Fair, or they run into me at Gen Con, if we manage to get there, or any convention for that matter, you can throw a Goblin Alchemist at me. Or better yet, I'll start signing them because they're that cool. And we have Cerberus. Cerberus? I'd have to look it up. But it's not Cerebus, like I've heard some people say. We have a Flame -2, 3 piercing, Tough -3, and the Beast is legendary. It's another demon. This is clearly one of the better cards, for beefing out the creatures of the Warlock deck. Now we get into looking at the Warlock, and as you can see, the Warlock has a different set of buildings, a different set of abilities than the other Warlocks in past expansions. Fire Weaving, which is once per round at the end of her action phase, the Warlock may target an object up to 2 zones away. She may move a burn condition from that object to another object in that same zone. That's pretty interesting. That's actually really good. Smoldering curses. Enemy creatures gain the +1 flamer trait. And my favorite for her, which, I mean, she is a her, and she's red hot, obviously, which I think they did a great job with the reds and stuff in this. They pay close attention to what they want their magic effects to look like on their cards, and they do that by playing the back to a similar set of shading colors, which I think is beautiful. Anyway, back to demonic reward. If a friendly demon attacks and damages an enemy creature with a burn condition on it, it may heal 1 damage. Each friendly demon may only trigger this ability once per round. I just like that because, you know, your demons are going to damage enemy creatures, and you're going to go after the ones with burn conditions, and, well, they're also going to get hurt. So the fact that they get to heal themselves by being close to fire, I think adds a lot to the flavor, and it gives all the creatures under her control that are demonic synergy. Or, synergy's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Now, this card I do enjoy. I'm not sure I will ever put it into a deck. A little difficult to probably get out, in my opinion. And talk about attrition. Each upkeep phase, Sardonyx's controller loses 2 life. Pretty rough to play, pretty rough to deal with. This is also the card that won the fan-driven contest for designing a card. Or was it designing a card, or was it... it might have just been art. Oh no, it was just to name the card. So the card was already designed, and then the fans got to name it. Now we're going to get into some of the equipment that comes in this, and some of these are pretty interesting. This one is pretty good, I think. At the end of this mage's action phase, they may pay 2 mana to place a burn condition on target creature. That creature must have no burn conditions. So again, you can see the theme of her going crazy with, I'm going to burn you, I'm going to burn you. And that's why I called her One Hot Babe. The Bloodfire Helmet gives demons you control +1 melee. And then you've got the hammer here. Once per round, this mage may pay 1 less mana when he or a spawn point familiar he controls casts an equipment. Signet Ring. Once per round, this mage may pay 1 less mana when he or a spawn point he controls casts a soldier spell. So you can you're definitely starting to see a theme here. The dwarf is equipment based and soldier swarm style based. Whereas the Warlock is, I'm going to deal with your creatures and burn them and beat them down. So you can see how they kind of picked opposites for the spell tome, so that you can see right off the bat how balanced they are, you know, playing against each other. And here's the armor. War Mage only. Mage gains armor +1. Enemy controlled enchantments and incantations which target this mage cost 2 additional mana. And that's, I've always found things that cost more mana to be pretty defensive, because I never seem to have enough when I play Mage Wars. I always want to do more with my mana. Then you got a Morning Star, which just pretty much beats things down, and it's unavoidable. Oh, now we have Altar of Carnage. Now I think this is the card that I was looking for. Whenever a friendly soldier attacks and damages an enemy creature, you may pay 1 mana on a friendly spawn point or familiar. No, this isn't the card I was looking for, but we will find it here in a minute. This is the card I was talking about. And this goes, well, you can see Talos standing on top of it, so that should have been a dead giveaway. During the upkeep phase, if you control 3 or more outposts, place a domination token on the altar of domination. During the deployment phase, if there are 4 or more domination tokens on the altar, you may retrieve Talos from your spellbook. That's what makes it amazing. It's from your spellbook. It does not have to be in your hand. All he has to do is be in your spellbook, and you have to have this out. So then you summon it to this zone at no mana cost and destroy the altar. Wow. So you get this beast out. Man, I got to do some math now and figure out how early you can have him out in the game. You can have this beast out pretty quick, I think. Well, maybe not. Depends on how much his outposts cost. But that's the trick with Talos. You get him out for free, and he's a pretty impressive guy with reach and piercing +2 and 16 health, or life as I'll call it. Then you have some zone exclusives. You have an armory, which is flame +2. You have the construction yard, which is another zone exclusive. Hashforge monolith. Rolling fog, which is indestructible, dissipates 3. All objects and zones in the arena have the obscured trait. Then we have Wall of Earth. And we're moving back into some more creatures. You have a crossbowman, which in combination with the sniper card is pretty good. You have an Assyrian defender. Just, these are kind of like guys you throw out to win your little battle. We have a blood demon who is bloodthirsty and flying. Not as good as the imp, in my opinion. The imp's just cool. You have a blood crag minotaur, who's tough, of course. A minotaur should be tough. And you have Cercerix. Cercerix the imp. Who's a familiar. He's a familiar, flame -2, legendary, warlock only. Cercerix can cast only level 1 to 2 fire attack spells or level 1 to 2 curse enchantments, which is pretty good. So that pretty much covers. I didn't find it. Everything I wanted to chat about. Combustion is really good, and the other one I want to talk about is Ignite, which I may have already. No, I don't think I actually. We're gonna do it again just in case. No, we did. So, in the Forged in Fire, which you can tell by the name, Spell Tome expansion, you get 2 Warlocks, some really cool cards. You can tell how, Forged in Fire really plays up to the cards in it. You have a guy who's hitting an anvil, and you have a chick who is messing with fire to burn things down. They introduce some really cool concepts with it. Some really good tricks, like Talos, for example, is an interesting idea that I actually really can't wait to play with. So, this has been a little bit more than a box breaking with Matt Lengthy from Through Gamer Goggles. Thanks for watching. Please check out our Kickstarter right now, and you can check out the link at the bottom of the page. If you're going to be at Origins Game Fair, I hope to meet you there. If not, have a good day.